If you've spent any time scrolling through cruise forums or TikTok travel reels or even YouTube reviews, you've probably noticed one cruise line that's been turning heads lately, and that is MSC Cruises. They've been expanding fast here in North America, bringing a distinctly European flair to the Caribbean and beyond, and cruisers, well, they're curious. It's why I dove headfirst into sailing back-to-back MSC cruises on two different vessels here in the United States. And whether you're drawn in by those futuristic ships that they have, or the all-you-can-eat pizza, or maybe even the promise of a more international type of experience, MSC tends to leave a lasting impression, one way or another. So today, let's unpack 6 reasons why people absolutely seem to love MSC Cruises, and I'm going to share with you a few reasons why some don't, including me. Because no cruise line is perfect, not even ones with crystal staircases. I'm the solo cruiser Wade Heath, and if you feel my reporting and perspective bring you any sort of value, please consider subscribing to the channel and ensure that like button is firmly pressed. Here we go. Number 1. The ships are stunningly modern. MSC ships are like something out of a futuristic travel magazine. If you've sailed on ships like MSC Seashore or MSC Seascape, you know these vessels are sleek. Boy, are they shiny. Every surface seems to reflect inside of these ships, and they are downright Instagrammable. From glass bridges and infinity pools to waterfront promenades and LED domed ceilings, MSC designs their ships to really have that wow factor. Even their entry-level cabins often feel fresh and contemporary, and if you upgrade to the Yacht Club, you are stepping into a private luxury enclave with its own pool deck and butler service. This was also something I had to try on MSC and did so recently. I'll link that video here at the end. But the bottom line is, if aesthetics matter to you, well, MSC, they deliver on that wow factor. If you want something Instagrammable, you got it with an MSC cruise ship. Number 2, the value really is hard to beat. I think one of the biggest reasons cruisers flock to MSC is the pricing. You can often snag a balcony stateroom for what other lines charge for an inside cabin. And the inclusions, especially if you bundle into their Easy or Easy Plus drink packages or snag a free Wi-Fi and drinks promo, boy, does it make it feel like a steal. I mean, I cannot even emphasize enough to you just how incredible these deals are for some of their rooms. Certain itineraries are just downright cheap, and so it makes it very easy to buy in to MSC cruising. MSC also runs frequent kids sail free promos, and solo cruisers can often find low single supplements, and that is a rare win for us solo travelers. In fact, I found on the Seascape during a 7-day voyage recently, like a total of $1,200 for a 7-day balcony stateroom, complete with complimentary room service, which does not come with the baseline package. That's something that you pay for with a little bit of a step up, kind of that second level, if you will, above the bottom. So it was a tremendous steal and a really great way to try out MSC for the first time. The translation here is you get a lot of ship for your money. Number 3, the international vibe feels worldly. MSC is a Swiss-Italian company, and you feel it the moment you step on board. You'll hear announcements in multiple languages, enjoy passengers from around the globe, and find menus that mix Italian classics with international options. Seriously, the Seascape happened to be one of those journeys where I was surrounded by a majority foreign audience. I've never had that happen while departing from the United States. I've never seen that on a cruise line. And I remember being on day 1 inside of the theater and the cruise director sort of calling out to the crowd, "Where's everybody from?" And he was naming different parts of the globe. The USA had the least amount of representation in the theater. There were more people that were there from France, that were there from Italy, that were there from Germany, that were there from Canada even. And it was really kind of surprising because, again, I don't think I've ever been on a cruise that departs from the United States that wasn't sort of a majority USA audience. So it was a very different voyage because of that. And like I said, You hear a lot of announcements in multiple languages because they have to, right? Because they have people on board who speak languages from all over the world. It's part cruise, part cultural immersion, which makes it perfect for travelers who love feeling like they're somewhere different, even before the ship reaches port. Think of it as a European vacation that just happens to float. Next up, the private island, Ocean Cay, is a showstopper. If your itinerary includes Ocean Cay, MSC Marine Reserve, boy, are you in for a treat. This is a spectacular destination they have created here, and I invite you to check out the documentary that was filmed leading up to the birth of this island that ultimately became MSC's. MSC moved into what was essentially an overmined location in the middle of the ocean that was left to rot, that was just left in total despair. They completely resurrected this place into the beautiful destination that it is now, and they restored the ecosystem and the coral reefs around it, and it's just an incredible documentary to recognize that MSC pumped millions of dollars into basically this sandbar in the middle of the ocean and created something spectacular out of it. This former industrial site in the Bahamas has been transformed into what we see now, a beautiful eco-reserve with white sand beaches, a chill vibe, and a full day and late night stay that lets you enjoy a sunset beach party under the stars. Now, I will tell you that while, yes, they have white sand beaches, most of these white sands are filled with all kinds of rocks and shells. And if your feet are not protected, you will not enjoy yourself. So I'm not exaggerating. You will come across crunchy terrain everywhere you go, and it will hurt your feet unless they're protected. So make sure you got something on those puppies. And if you are in the yacht club, you'll get escorted straight to Ocean House, an exclusive beach, restaurant, and bar just for yacht club guests. I would say also don't miss the lighthouse show at night. This is something that truly shines when it comes to evening entertainment, and is something that everybody looks forward to when they're on Ocean Cay. Next up, the entertainment and tech are next level. MSC ships are known for flashy production shows, LED light tunnels, and even robotic cocktail bartenders on select ships. They've partnered with Lego for family programming and Cirque du Soleil for certain ships in Europe. And even on Caribbean sailings, you'll find high-energy dance shows, theme parties, and that signature MSC flair. Part Vegas, part Europe, and part cruise fever dream, I like to say. It is a very different atmosphere, but in a very fun way. If you love spectacle, I think you'll be entertained every night without fail. To follow that, the Yacht Club experience is a hidden gem. Think of MSC Yacht Club as a ship within a ship. It is a fully private section for guests who want the perks of luxury cruising, but at a fraction of the ultra luxury price. Yacht Club guests enjoy a dedicated restaurant, private sun deck, totally dedicated lounge, 24-hour butler service, and priority everything. Embarkation, tendering, excursions, disembarkation, you name it, that is in the Yacht Club wheelhouse. And on top of that, they also get priority elevator experience. Yep, that's right. The elevators will come to them first before they ever stop for you. That's what the Yacht Club pays for. If you've ever dreamed of champagne service without paying Silversea prices, this is more your lane. And this is something I did. I highly suggest checking out the video here, linked at the end of this one, where I go into the Yacht Club experience full scale, so you can see everything that I came across in the Yacht Club on MSC Seashore. I think we know that when you're out traveling the world solo, it can be a truly liberating experience, but at the same time, there is plenty that could go wrong. And as my own adventures continue to grow more intense and exciting and stretch farther from home than I've ever been, look, I knew I needed to find some backup. And that's where Safety Wings Nomad Insurance Essential came to the rescue. Designed for travelers as bold as us, it delivers coverage for travel and medical emergencies in over 180 countries, and you can start your plan even if you're already aboard. It's flexible and affordable. Plans start at just $56.28 for 4 weeks. You get coverage for hospital stays, medical treatments, lost luggage, delays, plus extra protections like adventure sports and electronics theft add-ons. In addition to that, they have live 24/7 human being support, and that means you're never stranded alone. Whether you're cruising solo or wandering the world, that one-on-one help, gosh, that can be a lifesaver. So next time you're on the move, on deck, or exploring, Safety Wing, they've got your back with flexible, budget-friendly peace of mind. If you want to take advantage of the same peace of mind that I did when I traveled for more than a month at sea, then you can find a special link just for you in the description. But here are some of the reasons why cruisers don't love MSC. MSC is not for everyone, and I realize this going on back-to-back cruises, both on Seashore and Seascape, especially if you're used to the ultra-Americanized style of cruising on lines like Carnival, Royal Caribbean, or Norwegian, for example. Let's keep it real with two of the biggest pain points that I think are mentioned a lot in reviews. And that is, number one, the service style feels very different. MSC's service is often described as more European, meaning it's efficient, it's polite, and professional, but sometimes just far less chatty. It doesn't feel nearly as personal as I would say even like Carnival does. Carnival feels very engaging to me. I always think their crew is unbelievably sort of focused on my needs and just very in tune with what I want, and they feel like friends. You don't really feel that way here on MSC with the crew. Now, in the Yacht Club, that's a different story. They take it to the next level, but in sort of the general population of MSC, you don't get a lot of that. If you're used to servers, memorizing your name and cracking jokes and bringing extra breadsticks before you ask, MSC's approach may feel a little less warm. It's not bad service, it's just a different cultural vibe overall. I would say think espresso and efficiency over small talk and sweet tea, if I had to sort of characterize it. That is definitely something that stood out to me. Another is communication and logistics can be hit or miss. Between multilingual announcements, occasional tech glitches that you'll see in the app, and embarkation processes that sometimes feel more chaotic than coordinated, MSC still has room to grow in the U.S. market experience for sure. They seem very receptive to feedback. I noticed that. They were asking for feedback while I was on board, and then, of course, they asked for feedback as soon as I left, too. They seem to want to improve a great deal. I think they want this market share, and so they're doing everything they can to try and shapeshift to the needs of the U.S. market. I'd say if you're flexible and go with the flow, you'll probably be fine. I didn't have anything really stand out to me as like, oh man, that ruined my experience totally. But if you're a planner who loves clear communication and precise organization, it can be frustrating at times. I would say a pro tip is to download that MSC For Me app before boarding and double check your times and dining assignments. I was given, upon booking the Seascape ship, like a 9 p.m. dining time. I don't know why that was, but that's what I was given. I had no option. It was just assigned to me. So I had to go stand in line on embarkation day to get that fixed with the dining room manager. He went ahead and fixed it. However, he put me at a table of 8 people that I didn't know and didn't say anything about it. He just said, here's your new table, here's your new dining room, and the new time. And so, again, these things I feel like if they were communicated better, you could avoid a lot of hassle, you could avoid a lot of setbacks, but they're not. It's just kind of the way MSC does things. Now, in addition to this, I will also say a big setback for their ships, these sea-style ships. Now, I understand that they are trying to do things a little bit differently with the new World ships, so World America, World Europa. It sounds like those ships have a completely different approach, which is great. That means they're listening to feedback, because these sea ships that came before them, they are wholly reliant on the buffet as sort of the morning to night included option. You don't have anywhere else to go when it comes to included food on board these sea ships. So Seashore, Seascape, these two that I've been on, that is a problem, because you are basically shoving 5,000 people all into the buffet. And in the mornings, yes, they do have sit-down dining in the morning dedicated to the main dining room. However, it's overwhelmed almost immediately, and so you're going to wait a really long time before you can get in there. And so a lot of people just say, all right, I'm going to go to the buffet. Well, the buffet is crazy all the time. There are very few points throughout the day where the buffet is not heavily impacted because, again, you're shoving everybody in that direction. There are no other places on board for people to go to get a quick bite. It is buffet or nothing. So dinner time, it's far less impacted. However, it's still very busy. So while it's crazy, breakfast and lunch, and then usually later in the day as people start returning from like port excursions and stuff like that, that's when it gets the worst because they're not prepared up in the buffet at that point. And I noticed that over and over again. Lunch will end at a certain time, and then there are those like pocket afternoon hours between the end of lunch and the beginning of dinner where they still have food available, but it's like hot dogs and burgers, and it's a very minimal setup. So they only have like 1 or 2 storefronts open versus the 15 storefronts that they would normally have if they were fully open as a buffet during a mealtime. And so that creates huge backlogs, major lines. You have to really pack your patience when you walk into this buffet. Something that I noticed on embarkation day was the cruise director kept sharing that you should go to the buffet if you're hungry. Go to the buffet right now. And so he was kind of like pushing everybody in that direction. And I remember being up there, being completely overwhelmed with just how crowded it was. And I thought, stop sending people here. What are you doing? Like, open up other restaurants, open up other venues, stretch these crowds out, get them to other decks. But that is not how they're set up. That is not how the ship was designed. It was designed to specifically be main dining room service for one dining room dedicated for that for breakfast. Sometimes one dining room was open for lunch, but that was hit or miss. And then all the dining rooms were open for dinner. So I don't know if it's a European thing where they just sort of thought like, oh, everybody will far prefer the sit-down options here most of the time, and that grab and go is not something that people would be interested in. Well, I will tell you something. In America, we eat all the time. We are always consuming food, and we want convenience. We want grab and go options. We want more than just one place where absolutely everybody has to go to grab something. That being said, the buffet food was a cut above what I anticipated for the price point. The price point, as I mentioned, the value for an MSC cruise is outstanding. The value point here for what you get, for how classy it is, I think you are paying absolutely amazing value rate price for what you're receiving. That being said, the buffet food is a cut above a lot of major American cruise lines, and they very well may have the best pizza at sea. I used to think Princess did, but boy, is MSC giving Princess a run for their money when it comes to the pizza party on board. So I would just say these things are definitely noticeable in terms of the miss department. The other thing you might need to be thinking about too is when it comes to the theater shows, when it comes to partaking in nighttime entertainment within the theater itself, the theater is only like 800 seats or something like that. So for the 5,000 people on board, granted they do 2 shows a night, that's still not covering everybody. And on ships that are totally sold out, that's a problem. In fact, I saw that on my Seashore adventure where I went into various shows and there were people standing in the aisles because there were no spaces available, right? No seats left. Now, they do give you an option to book in advance. So as soon as you get on board, go ahead and book the types of shows that you want to go see. They're going to hold you to those bookings only if they are routinely sort of selling out the seats, right? So they will start restricting access to the theater unless you have booked a seat. The fuller and fuller it becomes. Now, if it is a ship that is not sold out, like my Seascape experience, there were always a handful of seats here and there that you could slide on into if you wanted to, which was great, but these theaters were not created to take care of the sheer volume of people that are on board these ships. And so if it's popular and it's sold out, that's going to be a problem for you if you'd like to take part in the theater nighttime show experience. In my final thoughts, I'll say MSC Cruises is growing fast for a reason. They offer beautiful ships, incredible value, and a distinctly international flavor. I think that sets them apart from other big cruise lines. Again, with the MSC World America, it sounds like they are trying very hard to be different for us now, and completely realign their own expectations as to who they are now that they are approaching the American market with the World America ship. So if you're craving something different, a modern ship with global flair, MSC, I think, is absolutely worth trying. But go in knowing it's not a carbon copy of the American cruise experience. It is different, and you will need to adjust your expectations. Bring your sense of adventure, and you might just find your new favorite cruise line. Now, as I mentioned, I did the Yacht Club inside of MSC Seashore, that exclusive ship within a ship experience, and I want to share with you exactly what that was like, the full breakdown from A to Z and everything that it included in between, and I have that for you here on the right, or for other cruise adventures and tips, check out that video on the left. We'll see you next time on The Solo Cruiser.